What if I told you that most ecom owners will never make any money? In fact, the smartest people in my programs are often the ones who struggle the most. In this video, I'm going to show you why smart people fail at ecom and how you can avoid their mistakes. And if you don't know me, I'm Matthew Lepre, and I've helped thousands of students build a second income with ecom. After analyzing 156 student stores, I discovered that 95% of store owners make the exact same mistake. The people who fail aren't lazy, they're not stupid. In fact, they're often the most educated people in my programs. Let me explain what this mistake is. I want you to really think about the time that you learned to drive a car. Did you start by studying the internal combustion engine, or by reading books about aerodynamics and friction coefficients? Did you sit down and memorize every traffic law in your state's history before you even touched the key? Of course not, because that would be insane. On day one, someone just showed you the basics. Here's the gas pedal, here's the brake, and here's the steering wheel. And that's it, just 3 things. Then they took you to probably an empty parking lot where you practiced starting the car, stopping, and turning. You probably stalled the car and maybe you even hit a curb, but you were actually doing it, not just reading about it. And once you got comfortable in the parking lot, you drove on a quiet residential street. And then you moved to a busier street with traffic lights, and then to a road with actual traffic, and eventually you hit the highway. You learned each skill only when you actually needed it. Nobody told you to master every single thing before you got in the car. But when it comes to e-commerce, people flip this completely backwards. They try to learn highway driving before they've even sat in the driver's seat. They're studying advanced Facebook pixel tracking strategies before they've created their first basic ad. They're researching how to scale to 100K a month when they haven't even made their first $100 sale yet. And you wouldn't try to parallel park a car before you learned how to start the car, right? Because that would be ridiculous. So why are you trying to master influencer marketing strategies before you've listed your first product? Why are you learning about hiring virtual assistants when you don't have any orders to fulfill yet? See, what happens is you're trying to learn step 10 while you're still standing at step 1. And when you do that, you feel overwhelmed because you're just trying to absorb all this information at once. Meanwhile, someone else just learned gas, brake, steering, and they're already driving. You don't need to know how to scale to 100K to make your first sale. You just need to know the next step, just the next one. That's it. And that's why smart people often fail at ecom, because they're too busy thinking 10 steps ahead. They're too busy researching and learning instead of actually doing. Now, I'm going to show you exactly how to overcome this in just a minute. But first, if you want access to a free course where I'll show you exactly how to start and grow your own ecom store, then click the link in the video description. Now, if you're thinking, oh Matt, I get it, but how do I actually choose what to focus on when there's 100 things I could be learning? Well, I'm going to give you the exact 5-step system that I've used with thousands of students. And the best part, you can start to implement every single one starting today. Strategy number 1 is the 80-20 revenue filter. There's a concept called the 80-20 principle that states that 80% of your outputs come from 20% of your inputs. And after working with hundreds of stores, we've seen the same pattern over and over. A store might have 20 products, but usually just 4 of these products generate 80% of the total revenue. And the other 16 products, they barely sell. They're just taking up time, ad spend, and mental energy. But the same thing applies to your work. You have, let's say, 100 tasks that you could do to build your store, but 80% of your results will come from just 20% of those tasks. The other 80% of tasks, these contribute almost nothing to your revenue. And the problem is that most people don't know which tasks are in that critical 20%. That's the hard part. Logo design gets 3 hours, while running ads gets 30 minutes. But how do you know which task is more important? You need to ask yourself this question. Will this lead directly to my first sale? That's it, nothing more. Everything else only matters after you're making money. You can then separate all the tasks into 2 lists. Yes, do it now, or no, do it later. Here's an example. Getting your Shopify store up is a yes because you need it running to actually sell. But asking, should I create 50 different ad creatives, is definitely a no, because that's not going to help you get your first sale. This is exactly how our student MA was able to hit 1K days, because he focused on what mattered next. Strategy number 2, the 2-hour decision rule. After working with so many store owners, we've noticed that decision paralysis kills more ecom dreams than anything else. And you've probably spent hours or even days on decisions like which product to test first, which niche to enter, or which theme looks the most professional. And you might debate whether you want to use TikTok ads or Facebook ads, or what price point to set for your product. Meanwhile, someone else made that decision in just 10 minutes and he's already testing it. And look, here's the hard truth. Most of these decisions don't matter as much as you think. Your first product probably won't be your winner anyway. Your first niche, it might change. And your first ad platform might not even be your main one. But spending 6 hours researching the perfect choice definitely costs you 6 hours. When making a decision for your store, what you want to do is set a time limit and put an alarm on your phone. If you're deciding what theme you should use, just give yourself 10 minutes only. If you're researching the best product, maybe give yourself an hour. And once you've reached the time limit, make the decision, pick one, and then move forward. No looking back, and remind yourself that this is a test. It's not a marriage. So if it doesn't work, you'll just pivot because the data is going to tell you what to do next. Strategy 3, the 1 week sprint method. This third strategy will enable you to make more progress in 1 week than most people make in a year without working crazy hours or burning out. And most people approach e-commerce by thinking they need to learn everything before they start. So they spend weeks in learning mode. And when they finally feel ready to begin, they've lost all momentum and motivation. Or they try to do everything at once. They try to build the store while researching products, learning ads, designing a logo, and setting up email all at the exact same time. The result is they feel overwhelmed and nothing gets finished. Both approaches fail for the same reason. There is no focused execution. The 1 week sprint works like this. You focus on one major outcome per week. That's it. Just one. Here is how you plan your sprint. On Sunday, you decide this week's single major outcome. From Monday to Thursday, you work toward that outcome only. And then on Friday, you ship it regardless of perfection. And then on Saturday, you reflect and then you plan the next sprint. Strategy number 4, the parking lot system. Most e-com owners are constantly distracted with what ifs and thoughts like, I should also learn about this. You're setting up your product page and suddenly you think, wait, should I learn about SEO? So you go back to work 10 minutes later wondering, oh, what about email marketing as well? You try to refocus, but another thought hits you. Maybe I should research TikTok organic growth. Does that sound familiar? These aren't bad ideas, they're just badly timed. Your brain is trying to help by thinking ahead, which you might think is good, but it's actually sabotaging your current focus. And most people either chase every idea so nothing gets done, or they feel guilty ignoring the ideas so then their anxiety builds. This is where the parking lot system comes in. Create a note file or a document with 3 sections. Later this month, after first sale, and after profitable sale. Keep it open on your phone or your computer, and when a random idea strikes, acknowledge it, write it down in one of the categories, and then return to your current task. You can revisit the list at a later date to see if there's anything that you need to take action on. For example, maybe you want to research TikTok organic, but right now you're running ads. Well, it would make more sense to get your first sale from your ads before you even consider starting TikTok. So you would categorize that idea under after first sale. And this works because it quiets that voice that says, I should also. It prevents the idea hopping and maintains focus on your current priority. Nothing gets forgotten, but nothing derails you. Strategy number 5, the show me the money test. It will show you if you're actually making progress or just hiding in busy work. You finish a 3-hour work session, you're feeling productive, you're thinking, I worked so much on my store today and I got so much done. But did you though? Let me show you what most people actually did. They watched YouTube videos about dropshipping again, redesigned their logo for the 3rd or 4th time, or researched 40 different products without testing a single one. They rewrote product descriptions that have never been tested, or spent an hour choosing between 2 nearly identical themes. You were busy, but you weren't productive. There's a difference. Your brain tricks you because being busy feels like progress. You're tired, you spent time, and you worked, but nothing actually moved forward. Busy work, it makes you feel safe. You tell yourself, I'm not ready to run ads yet. I need to perfect my store first. So you spend another week on your color scheme. Meanwhile, there's someone else with an ugly looking store that's making sales because they were productive and not busy. They did the scary thing, like running ads, instead of the safe thing, like tweaking some colors. So this is the 3-question productivity filter. Before you start any task, ask these 3 questions. Question 1, can a customer give me money after I complete this task? If yes, then this is productive, so do it now. If no, This is probably busy work, so you should question it. Listing a product is a yes because a customer can now buy it, but perfecting your logo is a no because, to be honest, the customer doesn't really care. Question 2. Will this teach me something I can only learn by doing? If yes, do it because you need the experience. But if no, then you're probably procrastinating. Running your first ad is a yes because it's the only way to learn what works. But watching another ad tutorial is a no. You've seen enough, it's time to do the work. Question 3. Would I do this task if I was launching tomorrow? This is a good one. And if it's a yes, it's essential, so do it. If no, it's an optional polish, so save it for later. A basic product page is a yes, but professional brand photography is a no. It's a nice to have later. So before you start working, write down your tasks and ask all 3 questions. This will make you think about every single task before you start, which eliminates all those time-wasting activities. So you can focus only on revenue-generating work. Now you understand why overthinking is your biggest obstacle, and you have the exact 5 strategies that I just shared with you to break free. YouTube have this new crazy algorithm where they know exactly what video you want to watch next based on AI and all your viewing behaviors. And AI says this video is the best video for you. It's different for everyone right now. So check this video out and I bet you're going to get a lot of value.